Indian Scott digging through the past. Crazy tales they uncover fast. History stranger than you think. They'll also talk about wieners in a blink. They'll talk about wieners in a blink. Oddball history.
And a boom, boom, boom.
How.
Welcome to this week's episode of Oddball History, where we are doing Painless Parker, a Canadian-born street dentist who wore a necklace of human teeth.
Street dentist.
And the ADA, the American Association of Dentists, called him a menace to the dignity of the profession.
Yeah, they didn't like him.
They didn't like them. If you ever wondered who that 10th dentist who didn't support a toothpaste was, it was Painless Parker. Yeah, 9 out of 10 agree. Painless was doing his own thing.
Yeah, but, mixed bag like a lot of the people we talk about, this Painless Parker. And for sure a big-time character, a really funny character. I watched a little short thing about him on YouTube, and they were like, the waters of New Brunswick, Canada have produced a lot of characters, but none more. And I was like, a lot of characters? I don't know about that.
Yeah, a handful.
And then, but they were like, but that's where they were leading to, was that Painless Parker might be the biggest character of them all.
But before we dig into Painless Parker, we're going to do the top comments of the week.
Comments of the week.
Bum, bum, bum. Do you have any suggestions for the AI joke? I like giving it a prompt that's a little edgy and seeing it fall apart.
Okay.
So I've done abortion in Israel, and it always just says a very punny based dad joke, and it's a contentious issue. So it always apologizes.
They're just skating by it.
Yeah.
They're just skating by it.
We'll figure it out. We might do race.
It's a coward as a comedian.
Yeah. Lumen 5 AI is a coward.
Welcome to the top comments, brought to you by Oddball History. But first, some jokes about the Chinese and Polish written by me, AI. Why did the Chinese emperor always carry a map? Because he didn't want to lose his dynasty. With a civilization spanning thousands of years, it's no wonder maps were crucial for keeping track of vast empires. Now let's turn to Poland, a country known for its resilience and humor. Why did the Polish historian bring a ladder to the library? To reach new heights of knowledge. Poland's history is filled with stories of overcoming challenges, and a little humor goes a long way. For those top comments.
But all right, the first one is Farm Welding, Nick. He's been in the past 8 episodes. He keeps bringing the heat. He's a volume puncher. Mm-hmm. He's a volume puncher. But on the Miss Doubtfire clip about how Jump Around was such a good song that even though the family knew
on us,
it spelled the demise for them as a family unit.
Yeah, the dream was dead.
Those kids still jumped around.
They still had to jump around.
And then Nick comes in and goes, the first step in healing is denial. Keep jumping, kids. Which I think is good advice.
That is true.
Yeah.
Look, ceasing your jumping around wouldn't save your parents' marriage.
No, it was going to end.
It was going to end.
Yeah.
You might as well really soak up the house of pain while you had it, I mean, there's a horse in your house. How often is there a horse going to be in your house? Remember he was eating the cake in Sally Field? That really sent Sally Field over the top.
How can you not have a good attitude when you're mad, but then you're like, there's a pony in here?
There's a pony eating a cake, though. My husband is an irresponsible man.
What a card, though.
Child of a man, but there's a pony in the house.
Yeah, that's uplifting to anybody.
But Sally Field, she felt she couldn't enjoy the pony in the house because someone had to be the adult.
That's very true, yeah. But, push your feelings away. Keep the darkness inside.
Just jump around.
Jump around.
Jump.
Push it down, and then jump around.
Jump up, again, down.
And then
white Boston rappers of the early 90s knew what time it was.
What was the other one? Not Asheroth. What was the other one that was annoying? Sam. He did a Barstool thing.
Oh, dang.
Sammy Adams. Sam Adams.
I don't know that guy.
You don't know that guy? Oh, man. He was
your cousin from Boston? Same guy?
Same guy, yeah. Early 2000s rapper from Boston. Just doing white guy stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I know him.
If you were a problematic drinker in your early 20s, if you were a problematic drinker in a certain time.
See,
I'm shocked you don't know this man.
This sounds like up my alley.
But then the next series of comments from a man.
The literal alley I found myself. No.
was LOL 482 on YouTube commented on the podcast, and he just goes, "You should be called the Ugly Dudes Podcast with your hairstyle and beard choices."
And look, all right,
I'm not going to say ugly, but that's disrespectful to Scott's fuck-ass bob, all right?
that is true.
As Velvet Spectre would say, Scott has a fuck-ass bob and a strong beard.
That's true.
Yeah.
These things are true. I did think it was kind of funny. It reminded me of like one of those jokes where you're like, nice hat for a clown to wear. You know, it's like a very like, you don't hear like, it's a very like heavy-handed insult.
Yeah, you should be
like
called
it.
the Ugly Dudes Podcast because of your faces. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't think the explanation was needed.
Yeah, I would have got it if you
Yeah, I
would have
think-
just said
understood. You
the,
think we're
the
ugly.
new name of the podcast.
Yeah, it's the Ugly Dudes Podcast.
Yeah.
But then the next day, he returned to the scene of the crime after just to witness the roasting he just laid upon us.
Yeah.
And he commented, "That was unnecessary and mean. I was just preparing you for hate comments if you ever make it. They are always there. Keep grinding."
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So he leaves us with a message of hope.
Yeah.
One, he believes in us.
It was just tough love.
He boy named sued us.
He was just calling us ugly to toughen
us up.
Boy named Sue.
We got a boy named sued.
We have him to thank for
But-
the spit in our eye and the what was it?
I forget the lyrics.
Something in your gut and the spit in your eye.
After the Highwayman clip, I don't know if I want to misinterpret the lyrics of a famous country song.
Oh, I will.
We promise. It's a
I
promise.
will. Yeah, that was really funny. I'm just doing like stream of consciousness of me high listening to the song in my car. And
Yeah.
people are like, that is not what the man meant.
That is an inaccurate representation.
Good times.
Don't talk about Chris
the
Christopherson like that.
internet. Oh man, I love Chris
fun.
Christopherson. He's so cool.
I do like the Ken Allen clip on the Dingbat District.
Oh, yeah.
Another local
Shout
comedian
out.
podcast is going gangbusters. Got
It
a lot of
is.
attention.
It's going crazy. Yeah, go back to our great apes, our great apes throughout history episode for the full story on him.
So now we'll get back into the topic today. Painless Parker, who was born Edgar R.R. Parker. Now he was
That's
not a great student growing up in Canada. He was actually kicked out of 2 schools,
Yep.
and then as a young man, he became the cook on a ship.
You take to sea. That's what a lot of people did back then. If you didn't do good in school, you just went to sea.
Yeah.
It was fairly simple.
It's
Which
they have trade schools now. Now it's just like, I'll just hit the open waves, the open oceans for me.
Yeah,
I'll find
I
it out there.
appreciate it. Yeah, it's like the beginning of Moby Dick. The guy's like, I was either going to kill myself or go to sea, and I decided to go to sea. And
Always
I think
keep that in your
was-
back pocket, though.
Yeah,
you got the ultimate trump card if you ever need it.
Yep, that lead ball. Imagine if you're like gonna kill it would be really back then with a gun, and you're like, well, I hope one of the 1,000 things that can go wrong with guns at this current time doesn't go wrong. Now I feel
you really like. I think it's it's more of a cry for help in like the 1800s if you were to shoot yourself.
yeah.
Because it was a 50-50 shot, you know?
Yeah, I feel a lot of people were walking around just with metal balls in their skulls.
We couldn't quite get it done.
Clink, clink. It sounded like a paint can when they shook their head.
I feel
know what
like
I
this
mean?
is a Tom and Jerry you had a dream about one time. This is very Wile E. Coyote of you.
Wile E. Coyote definitely had a metal ball in his head from a
Yes.
failed attempted suicide. How could you not attempt suicide at
After
a point
all
if
that
you were,
failure,
But
it's
Wile E.
like-
Coyote, of course, he failed at that too. He couldn't. If he couldn't,
I was going to say he persevered, but he also failed at ending his own life.
yeah.
So back to Parker.
But Painless Parker, man, he was a character.
But he was a cook on this ship, just making sausage for the boys. Mm-hmm. And then was like, man, you know what? I know I was bad at school and kind of a ruffian and have shown no signs of success, but I should be a doctor.
Yeah.
And then he got off the ship and found out med school was expensive. So he went, dentist it is.
Yeah.
And he enrolled in the New York School of Dentistry, which he ended up getting kicked out of that too for doing door-to-door unlicensed dentistry.
Yeah.
He would just go kind of a street dentist. He just, if you wanted your teeth pulled, he'd pull them. He got
so
the
much
spark notes.
so much for work study, I guess.
Exactly.
He says.
He was like, I'm doing my clinicals right now.
Yeah. And, but it's his first running into trouble for dental related reasons.
Which this is the early 1900s. It's like dentistry is just being founded, Yeah. They really just pulled teeth that were already rotted. There were not a lot of preventative maintenance going on.
And even then, people didn't know like the importance of like a lot of people didn't know like the importance of dental health.
But then after he gets kicked out of this school, he deep in his heart, he understands he should be a dentist. It's his dream to put people to sleep and then be inside their mouths
and tool around inside
the mouth.
Our unsuspecting maw.
So he ended up going to Temple University, alma mater of Bill Cosby.
That's right. Philadelphia Dental College, which would become Temple University School of Dentistry. He graduates in 1892. I read after he begged the dean to let him graduate. Oh,
yeah. There's like, please.
Which is a really good detail.
Yes.
And in the story.
And so Parker starts getting funny here in that he goes back to Canada, newly minted dentist after begging. And it was kind of frowned upon to do advertising for medicine or dentistry at the time. And at the time, it was like in, the candy stripe pole of like a barber shop. They just kind of pulled teeth too.
Yeah.
So there wasn't like dentists that people would go to. So he didn't see a single client for 6 weeks. And so he gets one of P.T. Barnum's advertising guys involved.
Yeah.
And it was gauche at the time. But he started advertising heavily, and they created the Parker Dental Circus.
Yeah.
Which was just a dental chair and a horse-drawn wagon with a brass band.
Yeah, they had a brass band. They had like little people and contortionists. He had a whole sideshow act that would come to town. And of course, small towns, there's nothing going on. So when this thing rolls up, everyone in town shows up.
Oh, yeah. And they do 50 cents a tooth extraction. And if you felt any pain, they'd give you $5 back.
Yeah, that was the promise. He never actually had the $5 on him, I read.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't giving up no $5.
But they would use the brass band to cover up the screams of the patients.
Yes. Yeah, and it was all a big show. He would come out and give a big demonstration on the importance of dental health and oral hygiene. And then he would have a plant in the crowd.
Yes.
And he would call this random volunteer plant up to the stage and pull his tooth, quote unquote.
Little magician sleight of hand with a molar.
And then he would
just
produce,
like, you got a nickel behind your ear.
Exactly. Yeah. Literally like the nickel behind the ear, because he just had a tooth in his pocket, and then he was like, and the guy's like, that didn't hurt at all. And that's how it would start.
Yeah.
And then people would start getting in the chair, and he would, I read this process. He, again, showman to the last.
Yes.
Painless Parker. He would, I don't know why he would do this, but he would produce his forceps from his sleeve like a magician. He would be like, "Whoa!" And now I'm gonna fuck your tooth. And then but he would produce the forceps, and then he would jab you in the chest, and that would make you gasp, and then he'd yank the tooth.
Yeah.
He would signal with a tap of his foot to the band to start playing, and so. The music would hit, and the screams
really crescendo drowned out the screams. When he was given these speeches, I love this part. He wore a necklace because famously in one day he pulled 357 teeth.
357,
and he strung them up in a necklace and would wear this the entire time.
Yeah,
which just reminds me of a bad guy from Apocalypto.
Sure.
It's like there's a Zydeco band playing. There's a toothless or a guy with a tooth necklace and a top hat.
Yeah.
Showing you his wares. This is like True Detective season 1.
Yeah.
There's creepy Cajun shit happening. Don't trust this man.
Oh man, the Night King would have loved the tooth necklace. He would have loved the tooth necklace. But that was crazy as hell. The 357 teeth thing.
And
then he's like, I got all these teeth lying around. I might as well
wear
a necklace.
Yeah, and it's creepy. It is creepy looking.
And
if you think he shined them up and did a good job, no, he did not.
Yeah, And I know you're probably wanting to see this necklace made of 357-hundred-year-old human teeth, and you can, both online and if you want to see it live, it's at the Historical Dental Museum at Temple University, along with a bucket of teeth.
Yes.
God knows how many teeth are in the bucket. A full bucket of teeth that he would set on the stage when he was giving his talks.
When he was giving the speech about the importance of dental hygiene, he would have a bucket full of human teeth at his feet, which is really, I kind of appreciate the marketing of it, where it's like, brush your teeth or else.
Yeah.
It's like more, a Krampus is a scarier Santa Claus. This is like the scarier tooth fairy.
Yes.
Or it's like, brush your teeth.
You'll end up in my tooth bucket.
Or I'm coming in the night.
I never did hear an actual audio recording of how Painless Parker talked, but I imagine it was that.
Yeah, it was very
It was
Monopoly.
like an old prospector, you see. I'm going to pull your goddamn tooth out. It's going to hurt real bad.
I imagine he mumbled things under his breath a lot, like, those are my teeth.
There is no God. Like, what?
There's only Painless Parker.
I am in control here, Painless. Look at my necklace. Look at...
But he ended up, his name's Painless Parker, but he was born Edgar Parker, Edgar Randolph Parker.
Edgar R.R. Parker.
But in a great dirtbag move, he got sued because he advertised it as painless dentistry. Mm-hmm. And it turns out even the copious amounts of cocaine and whiskey he'd give his patients.
Yeah, hydrocaine.
Hydrocaine. Cool name.
Hydrocaine, by the way, which is, it's just, I think the process was just diluted cocaine.
Yeah.
Hydrocaine, thus water and cocaine. I get that. That just clicked for me.
Scientists.
They would inject it into the gums, and then if that wouldn't work or if they ran out, they would just give them whiskey.
Yeah. Which I heard that he wasn't like how you do like lidocaine now or something. It's like injected into the site or skin. He was just kind of spraying it on the gums, just like an 80s businessman doing a gummy,
Just having lunch.
Just
having a power lunch.
Little Hollywood lunch,
Just keeping it light today.
But he advertised his dentistry practice as a painless dentistry.
The ads are great too.
Yeah, they're very entertaining ads. He's a wild man. But clearly, there was a lot of pain that went on in this sketchy man's street dentistry.
Yes.
And so he instead of changing his advertising, he legally changed his first name to Painless. So now Painless Dentistry was just a dentist office named after him.
Yep.
So he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Checkmate, ADA dipshits.
Yeah.
American Dipshits Association, more like. That's what I
Got
say.
him.
That's what I say.
Got him
Painless
good.
Parker, bitch.
It reminds me of William Walker, where he was on trial and he was just like, pirates can only be on sea. I'm on
Idiot.
land. Case dismissed.
He slams the gavel and the judge is like, how did you know that?
Yo, who gave you a gavel?
Who gave you a gavel?
He's like, I'm an innocent man. I'm leaving.
Yeah. That is, that's just a brilliant move.
Yeah.
Changing your name to Painless, that's like, that's so good. How mad do you think the dental authorities were when he changed his name to Painless? They're like, oh my,
It's just detectives flipping their desks.
They're like, he can't do that.
We almost had him.
It was the dog playing basketball scene and Air Bud all over again.
Yeah.
It gets referenced on this show
all the
so
time.
much, but
Yeah.
it's true. They're like, can he do that? And the
There's no
referee's
rule
like,
that says he can't.
no rule that says a dentist can't change his name to
Yeah.
Painless.
No morality and common
Well,
sense. How
well,
dare they?
Dishing out a shitload of pain.
You have one of his ads pulled up
I have
that I
one
loved.
of his ads pulled up that we both loved. Painless Parker's message to all Tacoma and vicinity: hearken. That's a thing I like right away. I wish more ads now started
Hearken.
with hearken. Hearken to the voice of the tooth. And then there are like 7 quotes from
Of the
your
tooth.
I am the human tooth, the most valuable and necessary human possession. From the time I first pushed my way through the tender gums of the teething infant until the dying embers of fire of life tell me that I am no longer needed, my worth is inestimable. And then there are like 7 more of those.
And
It's just a tooth
being very wordy.
talking and being very self-important, frankly. I mean, I love you, teeth, but
Come on now. You're no fingies.
But 8 blurbs on one advertisement, that's a little much.
I did love Harkin because it was just like old timey. It reminded me like a Game of Thrones town crier or something. It's like Harkin, the voice of the tooth.
That's what they said before they started marching that lady down the street nude to shame her. Harkin, we got to shame this lady for a little bit.
I like the official with the casual. Like,
hey, guys, Harkin, all right?
Harkin around, guys. All right, we're
bringing it back. Harkin.
But then, he ended up being a wild success.
He was a huge success. His dental circus was a success. He's hated by the ADA, but he's also, again, this is where a little good, the good comes in. He is actually he's he's giving people dental treatment that would not be getting dental treatment otherwise.
Yeah.
And he
did come out with a toothpaste
and
product
he's educating,
too, like a dental powder.
Yeah.
But it was, and literally like the ADA came out with like all sorts of rules and moral and ethics boards and things that are like still in use today.
Trying to chase our man out of the game.
Because Painless Parker was such a scumbag, they were just like, what? That can't be allowed. And they're like, who makes the rules? And they're like, we don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody does.
It's the 1800s, so there are no rules.
There are no rules. But he added 28 West Coast offices of Painless Parker Dentistry, grossing $3 million a year in like the 1920s and 30s, which is, in today's dollars, $178 billion.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah.
Nicely done, Painless.
Thank you. Don't look that math up.
He had eventually in total 37 overall dental clinics that he oversaw. He got his, it was another brilliant move of his. He got his license suspended in 1929. So he just pivoted and was like, all right, I'll just manage dentists. So he just started opening up clinics because his name is well known. So he just opens up clinics in his name and hires outside dentists and makes a shitload of money.
And now we have Jim Adler.
The Texas Hammer.
And
Bill Adler, the Texas Hammer. Give him a different nickname, guys.
You can be the Sledgehammer.
Or the Junior Hammer.
Yeah.
The Lil Hammer.
Little Hammy.
Yeah. Hammy Light.
Yeah. The Texas Trough.
Just something.
A tool. I don't know. That's not
Texas
a tough
Hammer,
tool.
too. I would be fine with that.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
That's
literally what they do is they have law offices with lawyers, and they're like just the advertising arm.
Yeah.
So they are quite literally, this has been a flim-flam game going on for hundreds of years. That Painless Parker, we like to think he was one of the founders of it.
Yep.
And the Adlers, are carrying on that bold tradition of being dirtbags.
Yep. Yep.
Do you have any closing thoughts on Painless Parker?
Great story, very fun. Painless Parker also he has his defenders, and I learned about one of them. His name was Peter Pronich, and he's a dentist in Canada. And I saw him. He did at least 2 TV appearances, like defending Painless Parker. And one of the things he always said was that the band was like audio analgesia.
Yeah, anal Jesus.
Anal Jesus. Mm-hmm. It was audio analgesis, the band. And that's like a legitimate thing to take away the pain. I don't really see Painless Parker knowing about that at that time.
I could see that being a happy accident.
All right.
At the end. Be like, oh, yeah, that was on purpose.
And so I'm starting to think, like, I don't know, like this Peter Pronich, like, I don't know if he's related to the guy or what. But then, okay, at the end of his appearance on this show, he goes, he says, and I quote, "We all see ourselves wanting to do what Painless Parker did, but not having the intestinal fortitude to do so." He's saying if we had the courage, all of us would be street dentists. That's an interesting take on morality, where it's just like, I would start a Ponzi scheme. I just don't have the balls. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And then it was really funny because the guy, he dropped that quote, that absolutely insane quote. He goes, but not having the intestinal fortitude to do so. And the host, he cuts back to the host and he goes, "Well, I like your tie."
What strange.
She was just like, I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Not with a 10-foot
That
pole.
was an insane thing you just said.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
God bless him. Painless Parker, we hardly knew ye.
Yeah.
Died a rich man.
So
Toothpaste
rich.
empire, managing a lot of dentist offices.
Yeah.
So,
And he hung around for a while. He died in 1952.
yeah. Old man. Saw the war.
The things he
Saw us win.
you
Saw us
know?
then subsequently go to Korea, which,
Yep.
less exciting, the Forgotten War, but
Yeah.
he was there.
He never got to see how it turned out.
Damn shame.
He needs closure on that anecdote.
Yeah, it's still technically going on, so we don't either.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're shooting this the day before Thanksgiving. It's Wednesday. It'll come out on Monday. But what are you doing for Thanksgiving, Scott?
Going over to my aunt's house with some family. No,
You
just
cooking
eating.
anything?
No, it's like there's so much food already. I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't got.
We do it potluck style, where you kind of got to bring something to the table. And
Yeah.
I am doing green bean casserole.
Oh hell yeah, I love.
That's
green
my
bean
favorite
casserole.
Thanksgiving thing.
With the crisp onion strips on
Ooh,
top.
baby. And I'm brand loyal. It is what's on the back of the
French's?
French's onion box.
Oh, yeah.
It's you buy Del Monte green beans in a can, Campbell's condensed mushroom soup, French's onion strings.
Hell yeah.
Easy peasy, baby.
Yeah.
It's going to be the best thing on the table.
Damn, that's saying a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, turkey sucks.
Is that your favorite? Oh, I love turkey. I fuck some turkey up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I like just eating turkey and chasing with stuffing and eating turkey and chasing with stuffing.
Just until the Cowboys game is over.
Yes, until the Cowboys are through disappointing us.
Hey, they
For
won
the
last week,
They did. It was not the best.
No,
the best
it was sloppy.
game.
It was a sloppy win. That's
I
fine.
just watched the very end of it. I could not believe that game.
Once you
Holy
turn on the fourth
shit.
quarter and you're like, we're in it? Oh, my God.
I flipped on, and it was right when Cavante Turpin took the kick back.
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, they're going to win. And then first play, boom, Terry McLaurin touchdown. They
Yeah.
just have to tackle him, as the announcer pointed out 7 times. They
should've
just
just
had to tackle him inbounds, and the game would have been over. If they would have just tackled Terry McLaurin, but they didn't, and then they missed the extra point.
I don't know what happened to Brandon Aubrey.
And then, oh yeah,
He started missing. He's off now. He
the
was our MVP, our Lord and Savior.
stink got on him.
The stink got on him. The Mike McCarthy stink. It's very ham sandwichy, I'd imagine.
The Jerry Jones old man stink.
Yes.
that wafts down from his
Just
suite.
the subtle scent of death.
Yeah, death and Werther's Originals.
I was at Parker Slavin's wedding this weekend with my wife.
Oh hell yeah! Congrats, Parker.
Congrats, Parker.
Friend of the show, former co-host,
What
guest
was
host.
it? The Eastland episode about Old Rip.
About old Rip, the
horned
famed
toad.
horned toad.
Yep, that they buried inside of a wall to see how long it would live. And the guy used his son's horned toad. He didn't go find a different horned toad.
No, he was like, it has to be the one you have an emotional attachment to.
The one you love, son. This will be a lesson for you. But yeah, it was fun. Tony Casillas, comedian, door guy at the Comedy Mothership, was also. We were both groomsmen.
Hell yes.
And I just want to announce that before the wedding, we were hanging out in a room playing video games, and I defeated Tony on 5 separate occasions.
Whoa.
2 halves of NCAA football, 2 boxing games. I don't remember what it was. Undisputed.
Wow.
1 UFC match.
Wow.
So just shattered him.
Wow.
A systematic dismantling of Tony Casillas.
Is he going to be okay?
No.
Oh, no.
Confidence is still shattered. But
Shell of his former self.
I just want the internet to have a formal record of this occurring.
Sure.
So, it was fun, though.
I was watching, what's it called? Married at First Sight? No. It's the Love is Blind, the one with Nick Lachey. They were doing the reunion show, and there was a guy on there who him and his girl that he picked, they never even went to the resort. They were like, we're better as friends. and then they had the guy on the show, and Nick Lachey, he was like introducing him, and he goes, you like tennis, and that's funny because in tennis, love means 0, and here you ended up alone.
We got to get Nick Lachey some writers.
Which means at some point Nick Lachey learned that in tennis,
yes, love means zero.
Means nothing, and he's like, "Oh man, I gotta
write this down.
Remember that for the thing.
I'm gonna ace some lady."
And then like his wife Vanessa was like, I think she was like, looked at him like that wasn't that good of a joke. And he was like, but it does. It means that is what it means.
I learned a thing. Let me have fun.
It's my new favorite joke that anyone's told.
I found something funny, which I feel almost guilty that I keep finding semi-gross things. But we were talking about fire station pranks, and one of my favorites of all time was this guy was trying to lose weight, and so he brought like protein powder to do meal replacement stuff with, and they replaced it with like Betty Crocker cake mix.
Oh shit!
And just like brownie shit. And so he would just eat, 1,000-calorie smoothies instead of like 250.
Did you keep some of the original powder and mix it in, or was
I think it was all mixed together.
Oh man!
And so he was like, "Man, these are delicious." And that was one of my favorite pranks of all time.
What's going on?
Is they literally let him finish it before he said anything, which it had to have. Some red flags had to have been raised.
That's like Mean Girls, the Caltine bars.
Yes. But then we had a guy that called in sick on Thanksgiving last year, which is kind of frowned upon. Like you pay a guy to work for you, or you sub time, or
Yeah.
If you don't have time, if you don't have like 20 years on, don't call in sick on a holiday because you're just forcing someone from the previous shift to get mandatoried.
Yeah.
And so somebody that planned on spending a holiday with their family now doesn't. So it's just kind of frowned upon.
Dick move.
And he planned it because he was up in Milwaukee with his in-laws. First Thanksgiving they've done with the in-laws up there since they had their child. They have a new baby girl. And we figure out her parents' address from one of his brothers. And we had their local fire department. It was like Wauwatosa. Engine company number 2 run a welfare check on them.
Oh my God.
And so they, lights and sirens go knock on the door.
Oh shit.
And then he like sheepishly called afterward and was like, "Y'all quit wasting people's time."
Yeah, it's not funny. There could have been a real fire, guys. Come on.
But he ended up leaving. He moved up there in Wisconsin, and we wanted to get him like a care package sent to the training academy so it could be like opened in some sort of public setting to embarrass him. And I almost ruined my wife and I shared Amazon because I was like, man, it'd be funny if I could find a fleshlight like with a mouth on it that had a mustache.
Yes. All right.
So I searched for that and then nothing came up. And so you could see my thought process in the searches of just like, no, a fleshlight with a man's mouth. Somebody has to make this. But what I ended up finding is called the flesh sack. And it is as you can see, a butthole.
A butt and balls.
Has balls on it.
Butt balls.
Butt balls. Which, how popular can this thing be?
It has 4.6 out of 5 stars.
42 reviews.
I couldn't help but notice. It is really well reviewed.
Let me see what the reviews say.
Is that bad boy washable? Is it dishwasher?
Yeah, don't be a pervert, but like leave it in the packaging or have it out of the packaging, just precariously placed in there. Let's see. I feel the entrance could be more centered. The sack was larger than I thought, but not bad. The feel is very snug.
All right. It sounds like a pretty good synthetic butthole and balls.
I do sometimes feel slightly guilty, but not guilty enough to not do it, about how dirty I can be.
Yeah.
How I work blue sometimes in comedy.
Mm-hmm.
But why the balls? There will be a picture. This will make sense. Is somebody having gay sex and is just like, it was okay.
I like the clanging of our balls.
It's like the sex was okay, but our balls weren't touching.
I gotta admit, that's a thing I haven't thought about before. Yeah. And the logistics of
the slap and tickle of it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, so it was $80 though. So I didn't pull the trigger on it. So Michael E says, So
Look, that's a lot of money.
a lot of money.
You're getting both balls and butt, but that's still that's a lot.
Because I always
40
enjoyed doing that. I thought about getting one of for white elephant gifts. They had this sex toy on like Amazon called the Accommodator. And it was like a head strap with a little dildo on the chin.
Okay.
It just, the box was very, very funny, and it was like $25.
Yeah.
And so I would just sneak that into White Elephant Gifts and like take my name off of it. And just wait for that time bomb to go off. But let's see what Michael E has to say. So I thought the balls would be great. It took me a few times before I actually loved it. The only thing I'm still not happy about is the hole location. If it were in the middle, I would like it more. They really need to center the hole on this
Yeah.
thing. Sounds like a logistical
Sounds like a
nightmare.
real flaw.
Okay, it's about the holes.
Which this just goes to show, when you're buying a butthole and balls combo synthetic sex toy online, do your research, folks.
Sack action feels pretty good. Love the sack action on my balls.
Hell yeah.
This man is making this comment with no pants on.
Sack action.
The problem with the internet.
He just came and was like, holy smokes, I got to tell the people about the sack action.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Where's my computer?
He's waddling over with his pants at his ankles.
Yes. But yeah.
Oh, man.
You got anything coming up soon?
Yeah, I got that New Year's Eve show at Fillmore.
Is that
I
okay?
know.
That stand-up comedy with Cowabunga?
With Cowabunga,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
I feel like we didn't talk much about your Jesus thing.
I'm doing a Christmas show December 13th, Latino Cultural Center, and
Yeah.
I will be one of the characters there. I'm doing I think a set, like 5-minute stand-up set.
Are you doing
as
your
the
material
character.
dressed up as Jesus, or are you doing Jesus?
No, I'm writing a new set. A Jesus set.
Are you going to have a joke where you say something mean about your dad or complain about overbearing parents?
Maybe I will.
You got to see it on December 13th, everybody.
I don't want your life. That's what I'm gonna say.
Just be Texas football Jesus.
The whole dynamic is just James
Yes.
Vanderbeek and his dad from.
Yeah.
Remember in Varsity Blues, my favorite line in Varsity Blues is when John Voight goes, "Your daddy was a no-talent pussy, but at least he listened," or something. Was it that? Or no, at least he had heart.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Your daddy was a no-talent pussy.
We have this famous Chief Jones, who recently retired, and I'm trying to find the episode of it. I forget. There's another retired chief named Chuck Hampton who has a podcast, and I think it's like Tales from the Fire Station or something. But he interviewed, and he was like on the fire department for 64 years, which has to be some sort of record. But he was on duty when JFK got shot, and he was just very well regarded. Everyone loved him, and he was like famously mean if you sucked. And he was very hands off, like fireman's fireman type of chief, unless you were bad, and then he was just a menace.
Hell yeah.
And so one of the harshest things he ever said to somebody was he'd been on for so long that he like knew, people's grandpas, and then the dad, and then the son. And there was a captain that he was like motherfucking at a fire, and he made him go sit on the front bumper of an engine. Put a grown man in timeout. And then he went over to him and went, "You're even more worthless than your daddy."
Damn.
Like, that
brutal.
is brutal.
That is.
Yeah, you just got to take it to the house after that one.
Yeah.
Be like, well, I guess I'm going to be a mailman now.
After that, Ugly Dudes podcast seems tame.
Yeah. LOL 482's got to toughen us up more. But we had fun at our Grapevine show.
Hell yeah.
On Sunday.
Yeah, it was a real good time. Sold out.
Reserved out.
Third rail.
I didn't like that they didn't have seats for everybody.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, all the reservations were totally sold out. They didn't have any more room for anybody. But it was like 80 or 90 people. And then only like 40 of them had seats.
Yeah.
By design.
Pretty spread out.
By design.
Yeah. It's
So
like
it was
tables.
Like
it's
half
not
the room
like,
was standing around a bar in the back. And I was like, oh, well, that's
not
less
ideal.
conducive to funny.
Yeah.
But it was fun. The Dumb Zone guys came out. They were great. A bunch of listeners.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I gotta look up what I actually have coming up.
I watched that UFC fight last Saturday, and
The John Jones one.
yeah, oh my god, yeah, he fucking kicked Stipe Miocic in the rib cage so goddamn hard.
What round was that in?
I think it was like the third, maybe.
Yeah.
And then the fight before that, the Oliveira fight. Holy shit, that
Really?
one too was like.
Yeah, he's awesome.
It was Oliveira and Chandler, I think.
Not to be disrespectful to
incredible.
Stipe Miocic,
Incredible.
but I had the same feeling of him as like watching a Mike Tyson fight.
Dude,
It was like, oh, this
he
would
was
have been
outclassed.
this
Well,
would have been a great fight 6 years ago.
Yeah, and Steve, yeah, like, oof,
Even when he fought Francis again, that first fight he did it perfect,
yeah,
and he was already on the downward slide. And then the second fight he like just looked stiff and weird, and just
Yeah.
got knocked out real quick. And you're like, well, he's already mushmouth and talks bad. Like, let the man just go clean toilets at a fire station in Cleveland, please. Let him go.
yeah.
I guess getting paid's cool.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, you just got $2 million in the bank, and
I love. I always forget between. I'll sometimes go a while without watching UFC, and I always forget how much I love Bruce Buffer, the announcer. He's so fucking funny to me.
what?
He's like, I love.
Have you ever heard him talk about it?
It's time. Like,
He is so proud of it.
it is. He does. Yeah, he seems like he's like.
He
I
acts
am
like
an
he's like a
artist.
writer. He's like, so it took a while for me to really discover my voice as
Yeah.
a performer.
Yeah, I always like. Sometimes I think like we're gonna watch him die in the cage because he got
just
riled up too much.
Plop a vessel.
I also
You're gonna
love.
see his eyes turn red and he falls in the middle.
Yeah, he's just gonna.
What a hilarious family business.
Yeah,
Michael
We announce
and
shit.
Bruce Buffer. It's like we just came
the
up with
guys who announce.
snappy sayings that we say before men
We
fight.
yell stuff before the events.
Yeah. Pretty
That's
big deal.
the Buffer way.
Really set
I
the
like
tone.
I also love when they make him do a full like movie trailer copy in
Yeah.
the middle of. So he'll be like, the co-main event of the evening, presented by Gladiator 2. Sony Pictures presents, starring Denzel Washington, and it's like a
long copy
movie
read.
trailer ad copy, and he has to do the whole thing in the middle of his fight announcement. I love it. I hope that I want him to hear. I want to hear every movie described.
Yes.
By Bruce Buffer.
By a very
I mean.
well enunciated
And-
man yelling at me.
Yes.
But I'm doing the comedy kickback show at Big Laugh Comedy Club in Fort Worth, December 19th.
Do you get a kickback for that?
Oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
doing a 325 at Hyenas Fort Worth the 12th. So I guess you can choose when to see me in Fort Worth, the
Bitchin'.
12th or the 19th. But yeah, do you got anything else? You want closing thoughts or anything else going on with you, Scotty?
Nah, man. I think I got it all out. Looking forward to Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Eating a bunch of food.
What are you thankful for?
Yeah, think about it. That's what this podcast is all about.
Yeah.
Gratitude.
Hail Satan.
Au revoir.
Jimmy and Scott digging through the past. Crazy tales they uncover fast. History's stranger than you think. They'll also talk about wieners in a blink. They'll talk about wieners in a blink. Oddball history.